everyone, this is Richard Carlton here. I want to let everyone know that you can join the FileMaker Psychic Hotline. Join me today for only $9 US per minute, and we will read your mind and tell you how to fix your FileMaker applications. And it's only $9 a minute. So you do that, you come here, we do that, it's no problem. In fact, I already sense a question from Tom. Should you delete all records? Yes, Tom, we believe you should delete all records immediately. Oh, and another question from TK. Will the moderators be successful without me holding their hands? I don't know the answer to that. It's not in the tarot cards. We're not sure if they will survive. So today is going to be an awesome broadcast. However, before we get going, I need to cover some low-hanging fruit here first. Let's cover the basic stuff. So I'm going to press the button. Let's see. I need a news button on here, like the hot news. So this is not the news, but this is the upcoming broadcast schedule for those of you who wonder about such things. So today is Christian Schmitz Day. And then very important that Claire sent out an email to everyone saying what the broadcast schedule was, and Margaret had sent them a correction, but they didn't fix the correction. They just posted the incorrect data. So tomorrow is going to be about developer tools, the developer tools menu in the FileMaker platform. We need to cover that before we get to the emergency Star Trek transporter on Friday. The Star Trek transporter is, I guarantee it, it's a non-authorized hack. It's a desperate attempt to save the life of your file before it dies, and you lose it forever. So it's an emergency transport, and you're surrounded by bad people. And then once again, Christian Schmitz has his Captain Picard jacket. He will probably put that on and be here for that. He is awesome as well. So tomorrow is kind of like we're laying the groundwork for the emergency transporter. So because we have people going, what's here? What's encryption at rest? What's a menu? What's a save as XML? So we're going to be covering kind of some of this stuff tomorrow. If Christian Schmitz, if you're around, if you want to jump in a little bit, talk about that, because you have a pretty good knowledge of that if you're around and you're not got anything going on. Basically, today is a really great opportunity for you to ask questions about how to solve a problem with the FileMaker platform, okay, that you don't know how to solve because it's not built into the product already. And how do we solve this? We use one of a couple different vendors who make third-party add-ons. I want to be very clear about this. Oh, well, yeah, we use Monkeybread Software. We either use 360works, or we use Goya. Now, I have been officially knighted by 360works as the holy knight of the 360works hand grenade. So I am going to be getting a 360works shirt, and I will be I've been knighted by Jesse Barnum to represent 360works in all things online. So there might be some really good half-off discounts coming for 360works products. You're just never sure. So I want everyone to be paying attention to us in the future when we cover these important things. So, and Christian Schmitz goes, yeah, on the psychic hotline, don't delete the records, use truncate, it's faster. Yeah, you can destroy your life much faster with the truncate command. That's a true statement. But once again, he has dry humor. You got to watch out for this guy. These Germans have dry humor. Upcoming broadcast schedule, that's that. If you want dedicated training from us on the FileMaker platform, more than just the daily live stream. The daily live stream is a great place to ask questions, but if you want focused training on specific topics, you come here and you get it. It's really inexpensive. If you need a copy of FileMaker Pro with it, you can get that as well. There's a complete bundle and not a complete bundle, so you can pick the one that's better for you. Today is a great day to ask questions about Christian Schmitz. So who is Christian Schmitz? Why do we care about Christian Schmitz? So if I go to my browser and I say search for Monkeybread, tasty, but we want Monkeybread, not the recipe, we want software. We come to this place right here. It says monkeybreadsoftware.de, and there's this website. And that's, I think his wife came up with that logo for him, and he doesn't have the stuffed animal behind him on the ground there, monkey. But this is the version. You could download it for free. It has limited features of what it does in free mode. But if you buy it, it has tremendous, it's literally probably the single most powerful piece of software in the FileMaker platform. Maybe base elements would be somewhat similar, but they have different uses a little bit to some degree. Some overlap, but yeah. So this is a really great product. We keep bringing Christian Schmitz back here because Monkeybread has like 6,500 different functions it does, and they're kind of in groups. So there's probably like 50 or 80 or 100 of them that do PDF related stuff. We talked about PDFs last week, all the PDF stuff it does. So you get a license for basically there was nothing that FileMaker couldn't do with PDFs once you put Monkeybread in there with the Dyna PDF. Dyna PDF is a library you buy. So Christian here, you see him on the screen, he can sell both of them, right? And you buy them. Literally nothing you can't solve PDF wise. Substitute this in, flip it around, do this, do that, make it bigger, make it smaller, make it explode. It's basically nauseating. I've never met anyone who says yes so much, right? Like Clarice a lot of times is like, no, no, no. It's their favorite word, right? And Christian Schmitz's favorite word is yes, yes, and not only that, hell yes, right? And so yes, 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 yes. And so you can solve it, but we want to try to test him today. So I need you to come up with questions that you folks have about something you're trying to do in FileMaker that you don't know how to do. If it's really easy and built into the product, we will take the question anyway, might take it offline, talk to you, send you an email about it. But we want to ask questions. So on YouTube, we have a question here. I don't know if that's a question or not. I'm going to paste it to Discord. From Sakari Group, he says, would like to see recorded discussion on how auto log, I think it's audit log, into websites being required. What? Are you?
So he's looking to fill a login form, I think.
Login form with FileMaker in a web.
If he goes to our website, there's a video section with videos about our FileMaker plugin, and there he finds an example, automate web viewer.
Okay, I'm on the web page right now. Where is it at? You want to show your screen and show it to us? Where it's at?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you just show the screen?
This one.
There's Christian Schmitz. Yeah, but you're. We see your face right now. There we go. Yeah, switch it over.
Hey. So welcome on my screen, and here on the, so you go on the FileMaker page here, you can click on videos, you can click a little bit down, and there's automate web viewer, for example.
Cool.
And this video shows you how we fill forms. Yeah, change a little bit of the preferences around JavaScript. And we made this video to explain people how this works and how you use our form utility.
That's very good. That's very good. I got to get a scorecard out here somewhere. Where's my scorecards at? The scorecard.
Yeah, simply so many people ask over the years that I made quite a few videos.
Yeah, I can tell that. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Christian, and it's score for him, and then the viewers, or we stump him, we don't get an answer. So right now the score is 1-0. Right, so 1-0. Christian Schmitz is now ahead. Although I could let me flip it here so you guys can read that. Sorry about that. There we go. How about that? A little better that way. Christian, yeah, that's the score, 1-0. So, all right, next person up to bat. Christian Schmitz just knocked Sakari's ball out of the baseball parks. We're a baseball reference, right? So, anyway.
So, last time we talked about maps.
Maps.
So let me look the mapkit stuff here. So let's just launch the example. So you see a blank layout, and we have this button here, create map view.
Okay.
It creates a new view on top of your layout. So it's independent of FileMaker, and it actually stays there when you switch records. So it's a plugin-based control.
Okay.
And we can just type here something like Sunnyvale,
California.
Oh, something.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Find something, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Claris's building, the new building, is right off the approach into this runway. I've been looking at landing here, but every time I land there, they want to charge me like $180, right? So at that airport, it's like, really, just to land, right? They don't want people landing there.
Okay, so we have quite a couple of functions, and I just see here we have the normal map, so why not change it to satellite? Let's see, map view. And on the map view, there are a lot of functions like set map type. Where's it? So set map type, and we can just call it, pass in hybrid.
Ooh, hybrid
Here,
satellite with the stuff on the top.
yeah,
Yeah.
a $$ map view is our variable where we have the reference. So I can just go here to the data viewer, put in here hybrid. So, and here $, and you see it switched in the background.
Welcome, Martin from Canada. Welcome, everyone. We do have a question here. Alpha Coburn 73. Can he place an icon or markup? Okay, hang on. Let me paste this in here for you guys. I'm going to paste it over here so Christian can see it. Place an icon or markup on a PDF and link the icon to the records on a card window. So different topic than map. We'll come back to that in a bit. We're going to finish the map stuff here for a bit. So this is a hybrid.
Okay.
Hybrid. So this is a satellite, but it's got the important roads and things kind of mapped out on top of it.
So it can place pins if you want. You can add pins to the page, and if you look on the functions here, you can have a circle marking something. You can add a point, polygon, a polyline, so you can draw on the map.
So you have precise drawing controls.
It's not controls. It's to do by script.
That's what I meant, though, but you can tell it to. It's like a plotter. You can tell it to plot object.
So you can, for example, here at a point, you can pass in a JSON with some values like the coordinates or an address. So the plugin can look up the coordinates itself. You can give it a color and an image if you like. So you can have a logo of a company maybe. So let's see, we have the snapshot example here, the different one, which can render you snapshots. So you can actually show people something on a map and get them a preview picture.
That's nice.
Yeah, and let's see, do we have someone else? Oh yeah, we can plan a route. Let's see what happens. So we got a route from Cologne to Munich in Germany with 3 ways. And it shows us pictures on the map, the route on the map, and it auto scrolls to the position. And maybe it's time to show you the script. So to create a map, there's a function, create with control, and it uses a placeholder. So we put a rectangle control on the layout so the plugin knows where to put it. But you can also say with size and give coordinates on the window. Then to show an address, we have a function for that, show address, and you pass some string and we look up it for you. Or if you like to plan a route, there's also a function for that with a couple of options, like what to show. You can actually get the instructions for the route as a JSON object, so you can see how many meters or kilometers in a direction, and then turn left or right.
We do have a question here. Yeah, we do have a question about the map. So are these maps coming from?
No, this is Apple Maps.
Apple Maps.
This is all Apple Maps, and that's a great thing that we get that's for free from Apple for iOS and macOS.
Okay, what if you want maps on Windows? What happens?
Yeah, well, then you will go back to Google Maps or Bing or whatever, subscribe to their API, and get a paid plan.
Okay, so yeah, so it's one of those deals. Go ahead.
The key thing here is that you don't need to code it yourself in a web viewer, and that Apple gives you this nice interactive maps. Yeah, and you can just use them, and you can have this coordinate matching, so you can have a database of your clients. You can look up the address to get the coordinates, and you can put pins on the map for your clients. You can plan driving there and plan your route, or just visualize on a map who's living in a certain area.
Yeah, that's a good point. So are the commands the same? So if we're doing this over here for the Mac, right? Oh yeah, okay, Mac and iOS. So where are the map commands for Windows at?
Well, that would be, again, JavaScript in a web viewer.
Okay, so
that's
not
a complete different topic.
Completely different. But it's not your product, right? Or
no. The key thing here is the integration as a control on your layout directly.
Okay. Directly.
No web viewer, no JavaScript.
No, directly.
If people want Google Maps, they can do that. Sure. Yeah. So that's maps. We got another example here. And what's click polygons? Let me see. You can click somewhere. Oh, what did it do? Oh, it's called no. Where's my map? Let's make a new one. So I click somewhere and I get coordinates, but
the map disappears.
I should have tried the example before.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're testing stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if you're trying to make a cross-platform solution, what's your recommendation on how we do that?
Well, depends on what your company needs. If you just need it for Mac and iOS, you can go here. And if you need a cross-platform, you go with Google Maps and the map viewer.
Okay.
And a web viewer.
Web viewer.
Yeah. Well, that's something. Before, there are a lot of things I can't do cross-platform. So I decide I better just make them for Mac or for iOS, or some features only for Windows, because it's better to have them than to not have them.
Right. Well, that's why it's really great on your chart that it shows what specifically it supports. On the right side, it shows you what platforms are supported. If we're using WebDirect, does it matter if it's Mac or Windows? I would generally say going forward, Agent Chevy, and starting with 19.3, it'll be less of an issue. Claris in 19.3, I guess this is supposed to be a secret, but it's not really much of a secret, so they've been talking about it with everyone who'll listen, that they're wiring in the web viewer on Windows to use the new Chromium-based library, I guess is what they call that, Edge/Chromium. So they're getting rid of IE11, the web viewer, starting with the next release of FileMaker. So the web viewer on Windows will be gone on that. So IE11 limitations will be gone, which means that you'll have much better parity in the web viewers in general. In terms of WebDirect, I'm not sure what that means. I'm sure they're testing it. Zach asked the question, is anyone with experience using MBS like an enterprise IT environment? In my experience, IT hates FileMaker. Okay, that's true. IT will not permit third-party libraries being installed. Well, yeah, so that's
I mean, if you just use the install plugin script step and you install it at runtime in your solution, that's not technically not a DLL they know about.
So you're saying it doesn't ask for the Windows permission to install that library?
Well, yeah, there's no permission dialog. It's just the install script step can do it. Or otherwise, you would just say, please install here the FileMaker and then put this file in that directory, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not executable. It should not ask you for the credentials. So, but Zach is correct. As a general rule, IT doesn't like, they like to clamp down. I mean, that's a broader problem, Zach. It's not really a Monkeybread problem. I mean, you have an organization. I mean, there are people who quit companies and don't work for them. I can't tell you how many people have left the state of California because of their behavior, the IT group's behaviors within the state of California. It's just pretty bad. So some people there want to get their retirement and they hang out, but I'm telling you, yeah, you're highly motivated people who want to make great products and great software and great services, and when you have people that fight with them about it, they tend to go somewhere else. So
let's maybe check some Excel functions quickly. So with Excel, we use libxl. That's an additional library which you can buy.
What the hell is Excel? Oh, Excel. EXL.
Yeah, Excel file.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Excel is like the size of shirt I wear, right? Extra large shirt.
Yeah, but we usually try to avoid the Excel name because copyright. I mean,
trademark. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we show it sometimes, and I hope Microsoft doesn't mind.
Yeah.
But libxl is an additional library. You buy it once per developer. Costs about $239 per platform.
Okay.
So if you have a Windows server, you buy one copy, put it on the server.
Okay.
Then you can use all our XL functions, and that's a lot of functions. And this is for making an Excel document by script automatically in the background in FileMaker on client or server.
Wow.
You can create about nearly everything. You can use a template, so you can open an existing Excel document and add some data. Let's just take an example here. Let's export this. So I just open it, so it will open in numbers. Okay. So, and we're using the demo version, but we just created yeah. I think we may have a problem with it. I'm using German localization, and now I switched to English.
Okay.
So, but dates usually work. So we made an invoice here from scratch by script. That's a script line. So we have script commands here to define font definitions, define formats, and set column width and write text into cells. And this even includes here a formula. Like here we have this if where we actually calculate the cell numbers and then build a formula in X. Where is it? There.
Yeah,
So
well, it would definitely be tedious, but yeah, if you're being paid to do this by your company or by a customer or something, I mean, you know, it definitely
usually
works.
Most people just let FileMaker do an export and then edit the sheet, like change the column names. Like this script here, it loads an Excel document, it writes something here in the column headers, first name, phone number, whatever. So you don't have the actual field names there, but some text for the user to read, and then it writes it out back into a container in this case. Let's see this example where we use, let's see, we define here colored font. Well, you can do a lot of things by a script if you need to, but sometimes you may just say, I get an Excel sheet, and there is maybe several sheets inside, several pages inside, and you remove the ones you don't need, and then let FileMaker export the stuff you need. Or you may want to just have a template, like this edit sheet example, where we take a template, we load it, we just change a few values by writing them in, and then we output the Excel file. So you can just fill in existing Excel document, or you modify it before importing it with FileMaker.
Okay, so there's another question here, Labdo404. I'm going to copy paste this over here. He asked a question. Can I create XLSX without template?
Yeah, we can create files from scratch. And you have to decide whether you want the XML format with XLSX or the old style XLS format. And depending on what other software you work with, you may want the newer or the older one.
All right.
And you can create a document from scratch. And we also have a couple of FileMaker specific functions to batch write cells. Like you can just make a SQL query, get a lot of numbers here, and then write them as block into your document, so you don't need to have a loop calling 50 times a function. You just do it in one block.
So Moki has a question. Can you freeze header rows, change header cell colors independently per column?
We have here protect functions. Oh, that's protect X. That's for a sheet. Let me look. There's a locked flag. Yeah, you can define a locked format and then apply it to a cell. And then it should not be editable. So a lot of things are based on formats, and you create the format definition, which may include stuff like background coloring, borders, borders on the left, right, border colors, alignment, other things.
It's pretty awesome.
So,
Pretty awesome. Moki, other questions?
Or you can place a picture, you can add a hyperlink if you need to add anything to an existing document, like here adding a picture from a container and then placing it on a cell. So any other questions for Excel documents?
It's I have to update my scorecard here because Ken just pointed out the fact it's like now I think we're up to 7. It's the score now because Christian Schmitz is so awesome. It's now the score is now Christian Schmitz 7 things it does. The viewers who are watching us asking questions trying to stump him 0. So he does everything, which is pretty amazing. So 7-0. It's like a blowout, Christian, like a football game there. Just like killing him. Never going to get the penalty kicks at the end, right? So.
Have you seen the soccer game with Germany and the World Soccer? What was it? A few years ago, with 7-1 in a soccer game. I mean, you saw someone making a goal, and then you just looked away and then looked again, and you said, "Is it now the same goal or is it another one?" Because they were making goals very quickly. So let's see. Let's say you have a web viewer and you can run JavaScript inside the web viewer, which FileMaker can do since version 19, and our plugin does for over 10 years already. So we had that before it was cool.
All right.
Let's see. We have here a white box, and this is actually a little drawing piece where we can draw something and save it to a container as a picture.
Man. Okay, that's 8-0, 9-0. It's just scores going up. You're just running it up. That's like not good sportsmanship. David Angel says Brazil versus Germany. Brazil versus Germany was the game, is what he says. So
yeah. Okay, so let's see. We can run JavaScript on a web viewer, and in this case we just ask. Well, this is a canvas object. We ask it to save as a PNG file and put that in a form field. And the next line gets the text from the form field. And we use a form field because returning text from JavaScript may run into size limits. So using a form field intermediate is better. Then we remove the heading here from the URL, do the base64 decode, and we have the picture.
All right. There's like many more questions popping up now suddenly. Yeah. So I want to, well, let's take care of the ones. Let's take care of Farkle here real quick, and then Oregon Dean. Farkle wants to know if I want to build a plugin, right? Basically is what he's doing. He said, did FileMaker release an API so you can program for it? I haven't found it. So what does your plugin
FileMaker, well, somewhere on the Claris website, you may get into the download of a FileMaker plugin SDK. And then you need Xcode on Mac and Visual Studio on Windows and something for Linux like command line to build your plugin, which is basically a DLL on Windows, a framework on Mac, and just name it.
So the answer, there is an API there. It's called the Plugin SDK.
There's an SDK. There's a little bit documentation, mostly in the headers. There's an example plugin somewhere. So you may get different versions of the SDK because some have the example, some not. They changed the example over the years. So
okay. All right, that answers that question. So there's quite a few other questions here. I'm going to go back over here to J Mountain Ford. It's kind of an interesting question. Back in the old days, we used to do data injection into like Adobe PageMaker or InDesign, right? You'd build catalogs out of FileMaker, right? So this is that kind of idea. He asks, is there a way to integrate with Adobe Illustrator, for example, populate text blocks with data from FileMaker, question mark, possibly using PDF tools, question mark?
Well, first, we can, of course, work with PDF documents directly with our data PDF functions.
Yep.
Put text on a PDF, whatever, replace text, replace pictures. a lot of things.
Yeah.
The other thing is you can use AppleScript to control applications on the Mac, and on Windows you can use Windows Script or what is PowerShell. And we do have AppleScript functions, we have Windows Script functions, we have shell functions, and you may check what scripting capability the application has you want to control and which way it works.
So you don't have an example right now of Adobe Illustrator, so it should integrate,
No.
but you haven't done that one.
No, but if you save a file with Adobe Illustrator, you can make a checkbox there and say to include a PDF version in your document, and then we can read this PDF part from the plugin and do something.
Yep. So it sounds like you could do it. He just doesn't have a canned example. I'm going to give, just out of fairness, I'm going to give half a point to the viewer for a partial step
Okay.
on that. He gets half of it, but it's like nine to a half, right?
Like you may have seen that Clara's got an add-on for rich text editor.
Yeah, Tiny Mice.
And this is Tiny MCE example from us. We have that probably also a couple of years. So you have some HTML in a FileMaker field. You can pass it into the web viewer here, running Tiny MCE as an editor, but you can use many editors, and you can, of course, query the text back as HTML. It just works with a couple of lines of plugin code to, in this case, load the right HTML file with the editor, and then to load something, we pass it again with a form field and run some JavaScript here to actually pass the content from the form field to the editor. And you can do this for a couple of editors yourself if you know this little lines here, like this with set content. So you have to find a snippet like this where you pass in the text, and then you can use a plugin function to put the text in the form field first. And we modified the HTML a little bit here. Let's see, maybe edit. So we put in here the secret invisible form field to do the data in and out exchange. Yeah. But that's just an example. You can just use it as it is if you like it.
All right, cool. The questions keep piling up here, so we're going to keep motoring through this.
Yeah.
We did cover a lot about PDFs last week, but I've obviously entertained this again. Can Dyna PDF keep track of line counts and page breaks? I'm sure it can. If you want to,
you can extract the text for each page, and though you know exactly how much text is there. You can use tables for layouts in Dyna PDF, so you can output text over several pages and automatically get the calculation for the row height, depending on the content. You can put images in your tables. So this example here, again, this is another JavaScript-based library. In this case, it's a vector drawing tool where I can just draw stuff.
Oh, I'm aroused. Now I'm aroused. Very aroused.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can draw something. And you can save it, and then you get an SVG saved. And you can, of course, load it back. So let's see, this is here, clear, new. Okay. And I load the saved one. Okay, you can have pictures, of course.
But could you load it outside of this tool, right? So we just draw something here, then we keep it, and then we just shove it into a web viewer somewhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I saved the drawing from a second ago. Let's put it in the input field and load it again, and now nothing happens. Let's make a fresh one. What? This is live examples. Live examples don't work. Let's just show another one. This is a calendar control we have as an example. Yeah, please. So now there's my meeting. There it is.
Well,
so we just got one of those.
Yep.
Oh yeah, access privileges. Oh yeah, that's a topic newer in FileMaker. So we go to security, and so here we have to make checkboxes for URLs,
Yep,
because
URL.
this example use URL. Also, newer FileMaker solutions may need FM. What is it, admin? Okay. Yeah, now it works. I can click on the event. I get a callback, and in the callback, I can then decide what to do in FileMaker.
Okay, there is a question. There's a couple questions over here. I'm not. I think Labdo, can you re-ask your question? Or Labo 404, can you re-ask the question in terms of whether you're talking about Excel or what you're talking about? Re-ask your question would be great. Alpha Cobra in 73 just popped a question. He's asking about your MCE sample. He says that the FileMaker version doesn't print very well. Does yours print the rich text better?
Actually, no. The problem with printing is that you really can't well print a web viewer.
Yeah, you need to get the data, the rich text. Can you get the rich text out of the web viewer and stick it in a text field? You should be
yes. Yeah. Let's see. We have a function. So this is all, again, platform dependent, depending on which browser you have. Things are a little bit tricky. So the first thing you could do is you could use our screenshot function to just when saving, you could make a screenshot.
Yeah, Oregon Dean was asking about screenshots and screen captures. I mean, there's a lot of questions whizzing around here.
So we can at least make a screenshot, and that's something I suggested on the Claris community today. Or was it Facebook? Well, maybe the Facebook page. I don't know. So someone asked this question today, and because those web viewers don't work in list mode, so I said, well, make a screenshot of your rich text, and then you can show the picture in the list when you scroll through your records. Another thing we can do is we can make a PDF of your document, but that's only for macOS. Well, we have an image function which works on Mac and Windows.
Oh, there we go.
So you can. So this is not a screenshot. This is different. This is asking the web viewer to draw itself into a picture in memory, and then we give you the picture as JPEG or whatever.
Moki suggests, once again, trying to get the text out of there. He says get as CSS.
Yeah, get as CSS is a built-in FileMaker function to get you style text as CSS. So we have a get source function. We have a get HTML function.
So, but I mean, the best way
would be or here get formatted text.
Yeah, get format. That's what you want.
That's not for Windows.
Well, you're a worthless.
That's a Mac feature.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's another half point for the bad guys.
So,
now
I would well. The control from, if you use the add-on, you probably can run some JavaScript to get the HTML of only the part with the content and not the editor itself. And then you could load the editor, only the content into a web viewer and do some things like asking it for the formatted text. So the add-ons from Claris, yeah, well, most of them are the first version. So.
So Moki's saying that that the thing with Claris and add-ons is that they don't really want to be in the business of really doing add-ons. In fact, they didn't really build the add-ons. They were built by Todd Geist, and he hasn't really been doing a lot of add-on stuff lately at all. In fact, he's kind of disappeared after he sold his company, so I'm not sure where he went or what he's doing. I don't have good visibility to that, but yes.
So let me see. Something else. We can create a custom web viewer which is independent of FileMaker. Again, I create a few records. I can switch between records, and the web viewer doesn't reload.
Okay,
that's a feature.
I missed that. So this is a special. It's actually a container, but it's mimicking a web viewer.
No, it's again a placeholder control like a rectangle, and we create a plugin-based control on top of the rectangle. So FileMaker has no idea that there is a web viewer here. And in case you switch layouts, FileMaker will delete our web viewer. But we keep it on top, so we can use it. We can switch between records. We can load something inside. And here we have functions like rendering an image.
All right, what you just said is going to cause my brain to... I mean, I'm not hearing anything else you've said. Just the idea of having an object on FileMaker that FileMaker's not aware of, that it can't mess with, is like a new thought for me. Right, so a bunch of questions. Moki just went hog wild with questions in there. So feel free to kill some of those.
Yeah, you can put it. You can put our plugin controls on the card window, which is also nice for the text view one, as well as here the web view one. And you saw I used the render image button, and I got a picture of my whole block, which is quite long. So the picture is very narrow. I can also ask to render a PDF document of the PDF, which also gets one big page. I have a print to PDF function, which gives me the page as if printed, so there's no navigation on the side. And this makes individual pages like paper. And we can, of course, ask for formatted text and HTML here.
This is hurting my head. I'm overwhelmed now. Yeah, my kid says might be worth 2 points. Yeah, he's up to like 15-1, right? So he's just running the score up.
Okay, so you can have several web viewers, of course, because the plugin gives you a number for each one. And we usually, in the example, store it in a global variable. So we have here 15.0.12, and you see it's 12 already. So this is the 12th web viewer we create since I launched FileMaker. And I can, of course, always let it disappear, close.
All right. I'm going to... okay, yeah, you screwed me up there for a second there, Organdine. All right, so there's a question here. Labdo rewrote the question. We're back to the Excel question. I do want to... He's been very patient. I want to try to answer that. So he says, I would like to export records with the normal FileMaker script step, I guess export, then open this Excel to copy 3 columns to another file without having to write each cell.
Yeah. Okay, so you see we have here 5 nice copy functions. And you ask for copy column, so copy column. You say which book from, which book to, which sheet number, in the source, in the destinations, the source column, the destination column. An option gives you the possibility to skip some things if you don't need them copied. Well, if they don't exist, they won't be copied anyway, but here's an example. So you have 2 documents open, the source and the destination, or it can be the same. And then you copy from within the same sheet or different sheets, and the plugin will copy the content.
Yeah. So there you go.
You can try all the features without a license, of course. libxl has a few demo limitations, like it can only read the first 50 cells. And when you write a document, you get this demo note on top. Same with DynaPDF. You can try it, you can play with it, and get a watermark.
Yeah.
So we were web viewer things. Anything cool?
So Organdine had a question about trying to deal with CAPTCHA, which is that robot prevention thing. What was your question, Organdine, up there? It was up here. We kind of, unfortunately, I went by it because there's so many questions whizzing around, but I'm trying to...
Well, if they have a normal CAPTCHA like from Google where you have to click on a button, then it opens a panel with 9 pictures, and you have to click which one is a car. This will be difficult.
Yeah, he says any particular... Yeah, I just put the question there at the bottom of Discord there. So yeah,
usually we have something like a login to our website, and what's in the YouTube example here? Yeah. All. So let's see. Now this was play pause. So this is someone who wants to just use some JavaScript commands to play, pause, get position, jump 10 seconds. So a little things on the YouTube website. But we have form functions also. Here, form fields. Oh, I don't know which example is which. This is very old from Twitter. There's also, where's my newer ones? Yeah, here. So we have here all the different field types, and we can just fill it here and pass values.
Well, that's helpful. But if Organdine's trying to not have to do the robot thing, that's going to be.
So usually you want to do maybe go on a login form, then you can actually fill the values with the logins and press a button. So on the web viewer, we have, go back to the web viewer. So we have form functions. You can set a form value. Just pass in the name of the web viewer, the name of the form, the field name, and the text. You may need on some newer websites, you may need to actually run some JavaScript like this here, which looks for the same field and sends a change event in JavaScript. So the software on the JavaScript can do the validation of the form, and then you can do the submit of the form. Sometimes a little bit tricky because you don't know which event is needed, and we have, let's see, we have longer examples here, yeah. So like here, we set a username and a password field. So, here. First, we load the website. Then we have this isLoading function, which tells you if the web viewer has loaded the page. And this is a little loop with script pauses. Then we set the username password field. Then in this case, we run a change event on both fields. Again, a little pause for the JavaScript to complete. And then we do our submit by making a click on a button. But for the last thing, we also have a function. Let me see, click. We have a click input function, which also does a click. And here's another login form from another website where we had to figure out the field names with our form utility and then use the form submit, or here's a click input, I don't know, as both here. And then again, wait as long as the website is still loading, and then it's loading your dashboard or whatever, and then we go to the search website on this case.
Yeah.
A lot of websites try to prevent you from automating them. It's a fight. And as soon as they change their layout and rename the button, you are back to changing your script.
Right.
But we know people which do different things, like if you have a company doing real estate sales, and they automatically can go on a website, look up an address, and look up the date where the house was built or the estimated value from some company doing that for all houses in the world. This can be really a time saver if it works most of the times, and even if you have to redo it every year.
Yes, if it saves a lot, yeah, it's definitely worth it. So Moki says it's a testimonial. Moki says, I'm having good success with using Monkeybread plugin for logging on to newer websites that are breaking up the login in 2 steps. I just code a pause, then input the password on a second URL. So, yeah.
And again, our functions are usually to automate it. I mean, if you can always click manually, you can click manual in Excel, but if you have to convert 100 documents, you may want to use the plugin and write a script.
All right, well, I'm sufficiently blown away by what I've seen today. Farkle's question, is MBS plugin a passion product? I think it actually makes money, right? It seems like you've written something that is amazing for all FileMaker developers that you don't ask anything in return. You ask for money, Farkles.
Yeah,
you ask for money.
I'm very sorry. But it's more like a club. You pay the entry fee, and then you can use whatever is in the club.
Farkles missed the part where you charge money. But yeah, I understand the question, right? But he's been around a long time. Listen, I want him to charge and I want to pay money. You know why? Because that motivates him to keep updating it, right?
So we are doing that for 15 years, and we are currently a team of 3. And the plugin sales do pay our salaries. So, yeah.
Yeah, RCC has a license. I think we have a license for like 20 seats. That's about the max number of people we have working on it. But yeah, that's what we do.
So for over 15 years, if people ask me, can we do that in FileMaker with the plugin, and the list of things we have to do gets smaller, and the list of things we have done already is getting bigger.
Well, we got you with the Illustrator one, so you haven't done the Illustrator one yet. So that was a half a point for that.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a really specific, and usually, I mean, half of the features here are because of paid consulting projects.
No, I understand.
So
but you can't whine about half a point's a half a point. Don't whine about it. You ran the score up on your side like by a whole bunch.
So if you are in scripting, you should check out our Apple script functions. You can build your Apple script as text, and then you can pass it to the plugin to compile it. And once compiled, and you have maybe properties in your JavaScript, then you can fill in the properties, and then you can execute it. So you could have an Apple script taking a couple of parameters to do the job, and then you can compile it once, run it 100 times with different parameters.
I don't disagree. I think that's fine. All right.
Here's an example, for example. This is about running, about sending text messages from FileMaker with iMessage. So we have this Apple script with 2 properties. So we don't have to change the script for every sending. We compile it once. We can even show you the error, like line 5 has a bug. And then we can fill in the current record and execute it. And this way you can have your iMessage write a lot of messages.
Now, this is some funny stuff. This is good. Well, there's good engagement here. Oregon Dean, is that a question, Oregon Dean? You had a quick peek. He says, I would like a quick peek. Or is that what you're saying? So 2 things. So 1, Farkle, you can download it, use the free stuff, but most of all this you have to buy to get the full value of it. But you can download it. It does a handful of things that are totally free. So that's a way of getting it in front of you. Yeah. So
if you talk about the free features, we have a couple of enhancements to FileMaker itself on macOS. And you could just look on this picture and think, what things are not in FileMaker built in? Like here, search box and relationship graph.
Yeah.
There's a context menu here. You can search for your field names. You get your script colored. You can search in your script. You can get context menus. You have syntax coloring. It shows you the wrong brackets here, the misspelled MBS names. You can search in your list there, and we got a lot of things there.
All right, so Oregon Dean. So that I wanted to clarify. Oregon Dean, that was a question or a statement. So do you have a SQL, a quick peek at MySQL functions as an alternative to ESS?
Yeah.
What do you have?
So let me see.
I think he's asking for a quick peek.
As SQL to other functions. So here's an example for MySQL query. We connect to a database. We run a query, all in one script. This is it. So we make a new connection. We set some options like where's the MySQL DLL. You need the library, but we have on the website, we have a download for you with a different library, different versions. Then you connect, passing in your login and the name of the database server and the database. You make a new command with your SQL command and you run it. And then in this case, it loops over the records, gets each field as text and the field name and shows it in a list. And then there's some cleanup on the end. So this is a SQL connections by script. You can connect on startup and leave the connection open and use it all the time, or you can open one if needed. And this way you can send data to MySQL or to FileMaker, both directions.
Did your plugin create the connection? How did it create the connection?
It creates it by a script line. So let's see. We go here to the SQL commands, and then we have the connect there.
Okay, did we have to install ODBC drivers or something
No,
like that?
You can use ODBC, but usually you don't need. So let's see. Here we have connection strings for various databases. So for MySQL, it would be this. MySQL server at database, and type is MySQL. And
so I can use this to connect to a SQL database without installing an ODBC driver. That right there makes it worth, at least on the Mac side. Windows drivers, I guess, are better, more reliable. But on the Mac side, that just solves so many problems.
So let's see. And you have to tell the plugin where to find the library, like here, libmysql. So that's a file you could store in a container, export at runtime, or just put in the plugins folder. And you have to tell the plugin where it is, and then we will load this file and make the connection for you. A download page, so downloads, and here is a libraries link, and here we have different libraries. Like here's MySQL libraries in different versions, and MariaDB libraries, Postgres libraries.
Well, okay, so here's when you talk about ODBC and SQL and stuff like that, there's ESS, which then FileMaker treats another system like part of a relational diagram. That's not what this is for. I don't know.
No. This is completely independent by script.
Yeah, and you're going to specifically target data, bring it over. So it's more like using the ODBC import script step or something like that, right?
Yeah. So we have a couple of utility functions. Let me find.
But because it's in scripting, Moki, you're skipping ESS. The good part about ESS, it's visual, right? You can line things up, do stuff like that. But he says, can it import a whole table?
Like this example here.
There you go.
We connect to a database, and then we run a SQL command here, select, to get some data from the server. And this, this is the other way around. This is for a select in FileMaker, and then we push all the records in one call to the server.
Okay, so back up. So Moki said sync. Sync is kind of a big loaded weapon. I think he's just moving records here. If you want, if you needed to sync, I would think about looking at the 360 Works mirror sync with SQL sync. It has that in there. Once again, this is like if you're going to roll your own sync per se. But it's go ahead.
So we usually don't. Well, we sync usually in one direction. Like you would make a SQL request on your MySQL server for new orders with an ID higher than the last one you saw, and then you would insert those records in your FileMaker database with this function. This function takes your file name for FileMaker and the table name and the field names. So field names can be different, and then you would push your orders from the web shop to FileMaker, and then with the other function you would push up the delivery date up to the web shop so people can see it.
Yeah, so this gets into the idea that sync is a loaded, it's like literally like it's a universal box of what the hell, right? Sync is a very loose term, and it means a lot of things to different people. So this is basically a brute force ability to move records back and forth, do searches back and forth, things like that with SQL. Yeah. I think this is fantastic. If I had to roll a very limited sync, like where we're just going to bring data one way, etc., that would be fine. If you want like legit like two-way sync and all this kind of craziness, I would go look at the 360 Works Mirror Sync product. So,
and if you need to connect to any of those databases, like your client may have something else running. This may be Firebird or DB2 still in use, or maybe even Microsoft Access. You could connect to that with our plugin and then push data back and forth.
Yeah, so Moki's like, Microsoft Access. There you go. A lot of people still, have that. Moki says, I need to ask the client for more money. What's important to understand about this is that the customer it's like synchronization. Like someone says, oh, I'm going to roll. I had an engineer do this, a senior engineer. Like, I'm not going to pay $800 or $1,000 for synchronization. I'm going to roll my own. And at 300 or 400 hours, he doesn't work for me anymore, but 300 or 400 hours, he goes, oh, I'll never do that again. I never realized how hard it was, okay? Listen, spend the money on a vertical market product. If it's 360 Works, Goya, or Monkeybread, those products are good. Spend the money there. Save your customer the time and headache and yourself the heartache of trying to support it. You're going to have enough time just trying to deal with if you find a bug with 360 or with Monkeybread or something, get these guys to fix it for you. They will. But you don't want to be rolling your own plug-in kind of thing unless it's totally unique and it's not out there.
So now I want to show you a little other trick. We have a context menu on the script workspace, and here those commands can be defined by the user. And I have, for example, here an insert for loop command, which I use frequently. I will just paste a couple of script steps or a function header, which should go on top, of course. So I'll put my loop in between. So we can define context menus, which do commands in FileMaker here. And I even got search and replace.
All right, just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. So people want to know. So Oregon Dean is a paid customer. You have people here are paid customers, but he says you need to spend a moment and talk about pricing because this is worth every penny. So tell us once again, go through the pricing for us. Why, this is awesome.
Oh, well, you can show that.
Okay, you want me to show it? All right. So if I go to Monkeybread and I say I want to buy it, so I'm going to go home.
So
how do I buy it? I'm on my page. I can't see your screen anymore. We're on my screen. Where do I go?
Click on FileMaker.
FileMaker plugin.
Yeah.
And then I want to buy it. Oh, download.
Pricing
order a
on the
license.
left.
There we go. Order a license. New license. PayPal.
Oh, that asks you where you're from.
Okay, here we go. So I have 5 people in the company.
This page is
up
too
to 5
wide.
seats. So yeah.
Just click on the pricing on the left list.
Pricing. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. That's what you want to see. So let me zoom in a little bit on this.
This is
So
I think that's better to see.
That's really pretty. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. So basically, you guys get the base product. Then, if you need the Dyna library or some of that other jangled stuff, then you get the Dyna. So you're not paying $1 for. So say it's Moki or Oregon Dean. He has up to 5 people. He's going to pay 150, 40, $50, and then you're going to add the Dyna part to it. I think we discussed yesterday you probably want the Dyna Pro one for most situations, right? Because it does pretty much everything we need. But then there's the library. This is the Excel functions, right? It's when he says Excel, it's not Excel size shirts. It's actually Microsoft EXEL. So then you have these things here. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So Moki says, so worth it. That's awesome. So
just download, play with it. You can have a trial key if you like, so you don't get this next screen.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Sorry. This is what Monkeybread is like. This is the monkeys eating sandwiches, I guess. So that's
just sandwiches.
Yeah, but that's that's awesome because that's what your plugin's like. Everyone needs it and wants it. Someone goes,
the plugin.
Yeah, you're plugging it. I mean, FileMaker users, if they've been using FileMaker more than 6 to 12 months, need this. They really do. So, wow, I'm impressed. I'm totally blown away. Well, that's into today. Unless you have any other things you want to ask or add.
I just wanted to show you how you get to the context menu.
Oh, you're still going. Okay, I can't get him to gracefully land the plane, so he's going to go. Keep going. All right, here we go.
So let's see this. Looking for it.
Context menu.
Script workspace context menu command. There it is. So this is a little database. Show all records. So we can define here the command to run in an expression, in a FileMaker calculation, when the menu is run. So here's an example. We copied some lines from a script. No, this is a calculation in this case. And here is a dialog box example. Oh, no, let's see. Where's my find sequence error in a loop? Okay, so I copied a couple of lines in a FileMaker script. I have this base calculation to insert it, to insert the XML. And then I can click the install button. And this will install all these commands here and put them in the in this menu. And there's even, from Russell Watson, there's the FM Automator, which has even more commands to use here. And let's take here a few. Let's say we have here a variable counter, and we can use the search and replace. So the plugin will copy this lines as XML. We can search for counter, and we can, let's say, localize it in German. Oh, no, maybe not. Count. I just change it to count. So, and then the plugin changed the XML to be $count and pasted it again, so I can verify it's working and then throw away the old version. So this example doesn't replace in the actual lines. So.
All right, so there's a suggestion that we bring you back for a session just on developer-facing tools for Moki, right?
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, he's always looking for a reason to come back. So, yeah, we will schedule that. Tomorrow is a little different because I need to tee up the conversation for the emergency Star Trek transporter. But, yeah, we can schedule that. I will tell Margaret to look at booking that out. And so it'll be just on things that help the developer code better, code faster, and one of those, that context menu thing, right? So is that Mac only, or is that Windows too, or?
That's Mac only. I'm so sorry for all those Windows people, but a few of them bought a Mac.
Okay, well, yeah, most of them do anyway. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna cut you loose for today. I'm actually running low on energy. I've been overwhelmed. I've actually learned a bunch of things today, which hurts my head. I'm old, and it's creating new pathways in my brain. It causes me to fall over. It's so
What's
good.
my final score?
It's over 20 to 1. 20 to 1. 20 to 1. It's quite good. It's amazing. All right, everyone. So we're going to be doing a dev session with him on how Monkeybread can make your development, how it can make your development process, like scripting, better, faster, injecting blocks of code in. I say injecting code is probably has a derogatory term, but the point is that it's we need to find ways of injecting things in or making things easier. And so can you identify all the things that will help developers make them better, faster, right? Kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have this list on the website with something like 20 things.
Okay, if everyone was going to read the list, then they wouldn't come to our live stream. The reason they come to live stream, they want to see you demonstrate it.
Exactly. So I will use the list to live demonstrate all the features, and I hope they all work.
All right, and there's a big conversation. Good engagement today. Great questions. Glad everyone came. Catch you tomorrow. See you, Mr. Christian.
See you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.